All right, the first Monday Night Raw after Survivor Series is here. We have segment of the year, contenders, new title match announced, and more. If you want to stay up to date with weekly episode reviews and all things WWE, you come to the right place here at High Spot Wrestling, so make sure you hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. Monday Night Punk is back. The episode kicks off with CM Punk greeting Jay and Sammy on his way to the ring. Gotta love that he now has some people there for him backstage. Really shows how far he's come. He comes out to the ring and he points to where the WrestleMania sign usually is and talks about the multiple paths he can take to get there. Also mentioning that he has a favor in his pocket he can use on the way there. I still don't know how Paul Heyman can help him. He's not a general manager, but he has been in the business long enough to maybe pull some strings for Punk. Punk continues on and gets interrupted by Seth freaking Rollins. And Punk's face every time Seth has interrupted him has been priceless. And Seth goes on to say that he should have knocked Punk's ass out the first day he came back to WWE. He's been regretting it every single day for the last year. He says he had pity for Punk after Bad Blood and that was a mistake. He takes off his shirt and says tonight's the night he can finally knock Punk on his ass. And every time these two are in the ring together, you can just feel the animosity between them. You can cut the tension with a knife. Punk says 6 months ago Seth had the title, which was something that he wanted, and now he's got nothing. He says he hasn't even had a thought about Seth Rollins. Punk says stay out of my business, and these two go right at it. Punk throwing 2024 Mike Tyson hands out here, and the fight gets broken up by Sammy and Jay. On their way back up the ramp, Seth tells Jay to run back to Roman, and this pisses Sami Zayn off. And Seth says, my bad, I'm a little bit pissed off, but Jay's family, so what's your excuse? Well, the crowd starts chanting Sammy Uso. Seth states Sammy stabbed him in the back by teaming with Punk. And Sammy says he didn't want Punk, he wanted Seth. I asked you twice, you said no. And he called Seth too damn stubborn for saying no to Sammy asking him to help him team up with Roman. Seth says I would never team with a monster like Roman Reigns. Sammy says, hold on, wait a minute. You created this monster 10 years ago when you put a chair through his back. Seth comes back at Sammy by saying that he did the exact same thing. And man, look, these two bringing up the two most important chair shots in recent memory was a great callback for the fans who have been here long term. The segment absolutely delivered. Easily a segment of the year contender. It finishes off with Sammy challenging Seth to a match. And look, Sammy versus Seth as a main event is an absolute treat. So we'll get to that. Next, we get a Judgment Day segment. Liv says, Finn, I thought you'd stay away from Damian. He says, look, I wouldn't have had to do it if Dom could handle it. Tells Liv, go focus on damage control. And Finn seems to be doing exactly what Damian did to him, but now he's doing it to Dom. Quite a hypocrite. Listen, I'm still not interested though. I hate the Judgment Day right now. Liv and Raquel versus Damage Control was okay. Io Sky proving that she's the best women's wrestler in the world once again. Nobody is touching her in-ring ability at the moment. Raquel pins Kairi Sane to absolutely no crowd reaction whatsoever. They start beating on Damage Control, and who else but Rhea Ripley comes to save them. The same damn storyline as always. So boring. This is why we need the mid-card titles for the women's right now. Rhea gets shoved into the corner of the announce table and re-injures her eye. Big whoop. I really don't care. So next we get a backstage segment with Finn Balor telling Gunther he deserves a title match. We saw this coming, but Gunther turns around and says, look, Dirty Dom beat Damian. He deserves a match instead. Pissing off Finn Balor. Gotta love seeing Dirty Dom get the respect he deserves here. Triple threat match between Dakota Kai, Shayna Baszler, and Katana Chance was fun. I think Katana Chance can be a star if given a proper singles match. She looked fantastic. Dakota Kai gets the win. This is the right choice. I'm going to say she's my favorite to win the IC title right now. I just think that makes the most sense. And here we are. The New Day 10-year anniversary. First off, get those damn penny titles off my screen. Thank you very much. Look, we knew something bad was going to happen here, but man, we did not expect it to be this bad. As Kofi and Xavier start to explain why they're going to break up, before they can finish, we get Big E. Oh, it feels so good seeing his entrance. I missed him so much. He comes out to say that seeing these two of them argue and say horrible things to each other has troubled his soul and touched him really deep. And you can see the emotion here from Big E. He is so good on the mic. He talks about Xavier and him and how they were almost fired and how Kofi was mulling retirement and how these two made sure he was good when he was in the hospital. He wants to be here full time and be here as their manager to remind them of who they are. And look, this sounded like a great idea to get Big E on weekly TV again, but no. Xavier says, "Oh, you want to come back?" After seeing us drive each other to a breakup, he says, "Look, E, you left us." And my God, Kofi agrees. Kofi says, "You broke your neck, so what?" Compares him to Stone Cold, Kurt Angle, and Edge. This is absolutely brutal. I did not expect to be hating on Kofi Kingston ever in the WWE. They just spend about 5 minutes absolutely ripping into Big E and blaming all of this on him. This broke my heart. Poor E, man. He looks absolutely distraught. Kofi even says he chose his new girlfriend and desk job over them. Xavier says he's a burden because every fan says they miss Big E when talking to them. I think this guy speaks for all of us on how we felt about this segment right here. And Xavier and Kofi end up actually reconciling with each other over this. This seemed like a huge weight they needed to get off their shoulders that has been holding them back. Seeing a heel turn, especially within a tag team without anyone beating on each other, was so refreshing. This was just such an awesome segment. Their words were so powerful, and this was easily a top 3, even top 1 segment of the year. Absolutely out of left field, brought a much needed change to Kofi and Xavier. I cannot say enough good things about this, man. So let's talk about Gunther versus Dirty Dom. Gunther obviously beat the hell out of Dom, but Dom was cooking for a second in this match, and the crowd actually started cheering for him. You love to boo the man, but you can't help cheer him on for working as hard as he does, and I think he's very well deserving of a world title down the line, somewhere down the line. Maybe not in the near future, but he definitely deserves a world title. Finn Balor comes out, beats on Gunther after the match. This has to be expected. Tells Dom to watch and learn. Once again, doing exactly what he hated in Damian Priest. We then get a Pete Dunne interview. Someone beats on Jey Uso, but we don't see who it is. The match between Pete Dunne and R-Truth was pointless. R-Truth wins on a roll-up. Ludwig Kaiser interrupts a Braun Breaker interview. Would love to see this match on Saturday night's main event. The Wyatt Six versus The Miz and Final Testament is announced for next week. I don't know why we didn't get a traditional Survivor Series match on the PLE. That would have satisfied the people who have been asking for traditional Survivor Series matches to come back. But anyways, Sami Zayn believes that Seth Rollins hurt Jey Uso, so he comes to the ring looking pissed off, and these two put on a great storytelling match. Sami wants to finish off Seth with a chair, another great callback to the chair shots. Seth pleads with Sami, asking him if he checked with Punk. Seth takes advantage of a distracted Sami Zayn, gets the win with the roll-up, and as Sami watches Seth leave, he gets hit with a Claymore by Drew McIntyre. My God, what a way to end this amazing Monday Night Raw. So many great storylines playing out here. I can't wait to see how Drew fits into all of this. Mind you, he has had beef with the Bloodline. He has had beef with CM Punk. So I'm sure he wants to kill everybody that has teamed with Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Overall, I'm going to give this Raw an 8.8 out of 10. I thought this was one of the better Raws of the year. This absolutely cooked from start to finish. So let me know in the comments what you thought about this episode, and I'll see you next time here on High Spot Wrestling.